Rookie drivers are under the most pressure to live up to expectations. From Lewis Hamilton to Juan Pablo Montoya, here are the most hyped rookie drivers in F1 history. Starting with Lewis Hamilton.
So when you ask about how fast our car goes, it's not actually how quick it goes in a straight line. It goes through corners like no other car.
Lewis was a big deal because he was the first black driver to race in F1 when he joined McLaren in 2007. Everyone was looking forward to his first season, and he didn't disappoint them. Kimi Räikkönen won the championship by just 1 point over Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton won 4 races and finished on the podium in 12 of the 17 races that season. I remember seeing the first season of Hamilton and being blown away by how talented he was. He was fearless on the track and had a natural talent for figuring out how the race was going and making smart decisions.
I don't really know what to say to it. The people that propose that don't really know what they're talking about. So.
From the start, it was clear that he'd do great things. Speaking of drivers who did great things, here's a famous Dutch driver who was impressed with his debut. Max Verstappen was the youngest driver in F1 history.
I don't know if we're going to be good enough. Of course, as a team, we believe we are. We are very motivated. We come off the back of a very strong year. And we are working flat out, to try and achieve that.
He began his career with Toro Rosso. In 2016, he moved to Red Bull. Verstappen was a big deal, not just because he was young, but also because he did well in lower formulas. In Formula 3, he was the best driver and had already shown an innate ability to pass and race wheel to wheel. Things were exciting at the 2015 Australian Grand Prix, Verstappen's first race. He took a risky move on Felipe Nasser at the first turn and immediately made his mark on the F1 world. Even though he didn't get any points in his first race, it was obvious that Verstappen was a driver to keep an eye on. Since then, Verstappen's become one of the most interesting drivers on the grid. He races without fear and isn't afraid to take chances. Even though he's had his share of controversial moments, no one can deny that he's one of the best drivers on the grid. Then there's this Canadian driver who had a pretty high bar to live up to. Jacques Villeneuve made his F1 debut when he took over at Williams from Damon Hill. Villeneuve was the IndyCar champion when he moved to F1, and there was a lot of buzz about him. He didn't disappoint anyone in his first year in F1 as he won the championship. He then had 4 races and came in third 11 times, which was better than his teammate Damon Hill. When I saw Villeneuve's first season, I was amazed by how well he drove. He was smooth and steady on the track, and it was impressive how well he managed his tires and fuel. He was also known for his risky overtakes, which were always fun to watch. Villeneuve had some successes, but it didn't last long. He had trouble the next few years and didn't win another championship. Even though he had a few more wins and podium finishes after his first season, he never quite lived up to the hype. But you know who did? A Spanish driver who everyone was low-key expecting to blow up once he joined F1. Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, we had some good fights with Alpha Tauri.
Yeah.
No one saw. It's okay.
With Yuki, no, with Yuki.
Yeah, okay.
In 2001, he made his first race with Minardi. In 2003, he moved to Renault. Alonso was highly regarded in the lower categories and was thought to be the next big thing in F1. In his second year with Renault, Alonso won his first race. He went on to win the championship in 2005 and 2006. At the time, he was the youngest F1 champion, and his win put him in the spotlight.
Anyway, I was frustrated there for sure. Every time we start in the first couple of rows of the grid, there is something going on, unfortunately, and I felt that way.
I always liked the way Alonso drives. He's very smooth and accurate on the track and has a natural feel for the car. He's also known for being very competitive and getting the most out of his car no matter what the weather's like.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. We are in that position lately. It has been already a couple of races that we cannot fight with the top 3 teams, but we are clearly ahead of the midfield. So
Alonso's talent was clear in his first season when he helped a poor Minardi team get 2 championship points. Then he did even better at Renault, where he was able to beat the more experienced drivers like Michael Schumacher regularly. The 2005 San Marino Grand Prix was one of Alonso's most exciting races. He started in first place, but Schumacher passed him on the first lap. But he stayed close to Schumacher and eventually passed him at the pit stops. He went on to win the race, which cemented his status as an F1 rising star. Here's another driver who received much attention when he first joined F1, Nico Rosberg.
Unbelievable, really. Oh, unbelievable. And it was so extremely intense out there. It was really, it was unbelievable. I mean, first of all, with Max, of all days, I thought today I'm not going to see him. And there he was again.
In 2006, the German driver made his first race with Williams. It was a good year for him. In the same year, he got points in his first race and finished second twice. Rosberg got much attention because his father, Keke Rosberg, won the F1 World Championship in 1982. People hoped Nico would follow in his father's footsteps and become a champion. Rosberg showed much promise in his first season, even though he didn't win a championship. He always got points, and how well he could qualify was impressive. He also worked hard and looked for ways to get better all the time. Rosberg won his first race in 2012. That same year, he finished second in the championship. He kept getting better over the next few years, and in 2016, he beat his teammate Lewis Hamilton to win the championship. Let's not forget about this next French driver who was already thriving in the lower divisions, Esteban Ocon.
Yeah, it was flying the car today. I think we can be proud of ourselves on the job we did the whole weekend. Starting further up the road probably would have been quite something in the race. I was feeling very confident. The car was feeling mega.
In 2016, the French driver made his first race with Manor Racing. In 2017, he moved to Force India. Ocon was highly rated in the lower formulas and was seen as a future star of F1. Manor Racing was having trouble making money and was at the back of the grid during Ocon's first season, but he was able to impress with his performances and people noticed his talent. In 2017, he moved to Force India and continued to show how good he could be. One of Ocon's most memorable races was the 2017 Belgian Grand Prix, where he finished in 5th place. On the last lap, he made a brave move on Fernando Alonso to get the position. Everyone liked the move. Over the next few seasons, Ocon kept improving, and he eventually got a seat with Renault, now called Alpine, for the 2020 season. Even though he hasn't won a race yet, Ocon has shown he has the skills and drive to do well in F1. Lucky for us, the talent doesn't end with Ocon. The last driver I'm going to talk about today had a lot of buzz about him way before he joined F1. I'm talking about Juan Pablo Montoya, who made his F1 debut with the Williams team in 2001.
I don't know, I just learned, I adapt really easy. And I think I always tend to figure out things pretty easy and things come very natural to me. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the things. And
he had won the kart championship in the US the year before, and people thought he would be a big star in the sport. Montoya didn't disappoint in his debut season. He finished third in the championship behind Michael Schumacher and David Coulthard and won his 4th race. Montoya quickly became one of the best drivers in the sport because of his speed, racecraft, and aggressive driving style. Over the next few years, Montoya won 7 races, but he was never able to make a serious run at the championship. He left F1 in 2006 to race in NASCAR, but returned with the Williams team in 2011. In 2016, he stopped racing in Formula One, but he went on to have a successful career in other types of motorsport. Sure, fans weren't exactly happy with it, but hey, whatever keeps Juan happy. And that's all on the most hyped rookie drivers in F1 history. We've got a full house, if I'm being honest.